Hi, I'm Ben, and I'm presenting on behalf of Group 36. For our report, we chose to focus on the IT sector, and more specifically, we chose to focus on the potential security issues within Cloudflare services. The presentation will be broken down into three parts. The first part being, what is a cyber attack and what are the damages it can do to an ill-equipped company? I will then summarize the three major risks we identified that could jeopardize Cloudflare's services, security, and reputation. I will then conclude with the key strategies that could help Cloudflare mitigate the risks of these cyber threats. So what is a cyber attack? A cyber attack is a very general term applied to many sorts of unwanted aggressions that take place within the information technology space. These can be things like buffer overflow attacks and distributed denial of service attacks, also known as DDoS, which we will talk about later. It can also be things like changing the contents of a web page, phishing, stealing passwords, and much more. These attacks can be carried out by anyone with a connection to the target and the know-how and/or tools to do so. As most machines are connected to the internet in some way, an attacker could be anywhere or anyone, even a government. Unsurprisingly, the number of cyber attacks is increasing, with almost 400 million people falling victim to them annually. This is only set to increase as more people are connected to the internet and knowledge and tools to carry out these attacks become more readily available. So what could be the repercussions of a cyber attack? Well, this depends on the type of attack, how prepared the victim was, and what the attacker's intent was. If the attacker happened to be a grey hat hacker, meaning they hack with good intent but not authorized, there may be no negative consequences and a security vulnerability may be disclosed. However, if the attacker is a black hat hacker, meaning they hack with bad intent, the victim's data or money may be stolen, reputation may be damaged, or the IT infrastructure may no longer be functional. So what are some of the places we found Cloudflare could be vulnerable? One of these places is the potential for a buffer overflow or overrun attack. This potential risk is within Cloudflare's control as they write the majority of the code that runs their services. This also means, however, they are fully responsible for making sure this code does not contain a buffer overflow vulnerability. A buffer overflow or overrun occurs when a function continues to access memory past the last address it was intended to. These vulnerabilities are normally caused by a poor understanding of the vulnerability or what the code is supposed to do. This vulnerability is extremely important for Cloudflare to mitigate, as they deal with the sensitive data of many people and companies. This means accessing past a client's assigned block of memory could compromise the security of another client. A real-world example we found of this was a buffer overrun vulnerability within Cloudflare services. This vulnerability occurred between the 13th and the 18th of February 2017 due to the replacement of old code. This bug affected three of Cloudflare's services: email obfuscation, server-side excludes, and automatic HTTPS rewrites. This bug leaked random clients' unencrypted data to anyone who sent in a HTML message ending in the broken HTML tag. This bug was caused due to a poor understanding of the coding language Ragul used by Cloudflare. While there was a check to see if the function was at the end of a client's message, there was a possibility that the function could be one address past it, causing the function to keep reading. Another vulnerability that Cloudflare should be concerned with is hash collisions. A hash collision is when a hash algorithm produces the same hash key for more than one distinct input. Hash collisions are expected to happen, but for regular users it would be very unlikely to be of importance, as the chances of it happening are very low. However, as Cloudflare deals with many more times the amount of hash keys as a regular user, it is much more likely to occur. This could be a security issue, as users may generate fake data in order to gain the same hash key as a file they may want. In 2017, Google announced a major flaw in a hash algorithm SHA-1. This algorithm was widely used. However, Google showed that it was vulnerable with a modified file producing the same key as the original. Google advised all people and organizations to make urgent changes if their systems depended on the SHA-1 algorithm, and that any use of the algorithm for verification purposes would be insecure. In this case, Cloudflare had already proactively moved to a more secure hash algorithm. A big security vulnerability that Cloudflare must mitigate is a distributed denial of service attack, also known as a DDoS attack. The intent of a DDoS attack is to overwhelm the target with what is to the attacker usually useless information and requests sent by multiple computers. This causes the target to experience degraded quality of service or to cease operation entirely for the duration of the attack. These types of attacks are becoming both more frequent and larger. This trend is set to continue as more devices become part of botnets. On October 21, 2016, DYN, an internet performance management company, was targeted by one of the largest DDoS attacks in history. DYN provides DNS infrastructure linking internet users to the website they request to go to. This infrastructure was slowed down by the attack and disrupted access to Amazon, PayPal, and Reddit, among others. This attack lasted throughout the day and was finally resolved shortly after 6 p.m. So how should Cloudflare deal with the threat? When dealing with a potential security issue, Cloudflare must first identify what the issue is. They should then evaluate the importance with criteria such as potential loss, risk of it happening, and cost to protect against. Once the threat has been evaluated, measures according to the importance must be taken to mitigate the threat. There are certain strategies that Cloudflare can implement to help mitigate threats. One of these strategies is performing frequent audits to help identify threats early. They should also update security practices within a timely manner, as what may be a viable security measure today may not be tomorrow. Cloudflare should also offer continuing education to its employees, as people are often the weakest link in a security model. To conclude, Cloudflare must realize the threat that cyber attacks can pose to the company. They must also understand the need to be proactive when it comes to security. This includes educating their staff as well as funding countermeasures for outside threats.